Have you ever felt invisible? Have you ever looked at the world around you, the chaos, the noise, the people in power, and felt like you're just drifting? Like you had no control over your own story. Maybe you have felt like God has gone silent. You prayed, but the breakthrough doesn't come. You looked for a sign, but the sky stays grey. I want to talk to you today about a woman who knew that feeling better than anyone. Her name was Hadasiah, though the world could come to know her as Esther. If you look at her life on a paper, she wasn't just a candidate for greatness. She was an orphan. She was a refugee living in a land that wasn't her own. She was a minority in a superpower empire that could crush her without a second. She had every reason to be a victim, but God doesn't look at your resume. He looks at your potential. In the next 30 minutes, we are going to walk through the life of Esther. But this is not just a history lesson. This is a blueprint for your life. Because I believe with everything in me that you are watching this video for a reason. You are not here by accident. You are here for such a time as this. Let's set the scene. We are in Susan, the capital of Persian Empire. It is wealthy, it is powerful, and it is dangerous. Esther is a young British girl raised by her cousin Mordecai. Now here is a frustrating detail that scholars often point out. The name Esther is related to the Hebrew root, which means hidden. If you read the book of Esther in the Bible, you will notice something strange. It is the only book in the Bible where the name of God is not precisely mentioned. Why? Why could God leave his name out of such an important book? I believe it's to teach us a lesson that we are desperately need in the modern world. Just because God is silent does not mean he is absent. Just because he is hidden does not mean he is not working. Esther's life was full of coincidence. It was a coincidence that king needed a new queen. It was a coincidence that Esther was beautiful. It was a coincidence that she won the king's favor. But we know the truth. Coincidence is just God's way of remaining anonymous. Esther entered the palace not as a conqueror but as a contest. She is taken into the king's harem. Imagine the fear she had to hide who she is. Mordecai warned her, "Do not tell them you are a Jew." She had to wear a mask. Many of you know what that is like. You go to work, you go to school, and you hid your struggles. You hid your pain. You hid your faith. You feel like if people really knew you, they won't accept you. But look at what happened. Esther doesn't just survive, she thrived. She wins the favor of Haggai, the custodian. She wins the favor of the king. She becomes queen. But she is a queen with a secret, and she does not know it yet. But that is the only secret that could only save the people. Every story has a villain. In your life, the villain might be a debt, it might be sickness, it might be depression. In Esther's story, the villain was a man named Haman. Haman was arrogant and he hated Mordecai. Why? Because Mordecai refused to bow to him. Mordecai knew that you only bow to God, and because of this one man's integrity, Haman decided to burn the whole world down. He convinced the king to sign a decree on a specific date all Jewish, young and old, women and children could be completely destroyed. Imagine the atmosphere in Susan. The Bible says the city of Susan was bewildered, confusion, panicked. Esther is in the palace. She is safe, right? She's the queen. She's comfortable. She doesn't even know that the decree has been signed until she hears Mordecai is outside the palace gate, wearing sackcloth and ashes, wailing loudly. This is the moment where reality crashes into our comfort. Mordecai sent a message to Esther. You have to go to the king. You have to beg for mercy. Here is where Esther becomes human to me. She doesn't say, yes, I will do it immediately. She says, I can't. She sends a message back. Mordecai, you know the law. If anyone approaches the king without being summoned, they are put to death, unless he holds out the golden scepter. He hasn't called for me in 30 days. If I go in there, I could die. She was afraid. Are you facing something today that terrifies you? A conversation you need summoned. They are put to death, unless he holds out the golden scepter. He hasn't called for me in 30 days. If I go in there, I could die. She was afraid. Are you facing something today that terrifies you? A conversation you need to have. A step of faith you need to take. And you are thinking, God, if I do this, it could cost me everything. Mordecai's response to her fear is one of the famous verses in the Bible. He doesn't coddle her. He speaks truth to her destiny. He says, do not think that because you are in the king's house, you alone of all the Jewish will escape. For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jewish will rise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And then the line that echoes through history. And who knows that you have come to your royal position for a time at this. Pause the video in your mind for a second. For such a time as this, your pain, your past, the job you have, the city you live, the struggles you have overcome. What if none of this was an accident? What if God positioned you exactly where you are, not to make you comfortable, but to make you dangerous to the enemies? Esther realized her crown wasn't for decoration, it was for deliverance. Esther makes her choice. She sent words back. Gather the Jewish, fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my maidens will fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king, even though it is against the law. And if I perish, I perish. If I perish, I perish. This is the death of the echo. This is the moment she decided that her purpose was bigger than her safety. But watch what happens next. This is a master class in strategy. She doesn't rush into the throne room screaming and crying. She doesn't panic. She prepares. After 3 days of fasting, 3 days of getting her spirit right with God, she puts on her royal robe. She makes herself look like a queen. She stands in the inner court. The king sees her, and God turns the king's heart. He extended the scepter. She leaves. When the king asks, "What is your request, Queen Esther?" "I will give you up to half the kingdom." She doesn't battling out the problem yet. She says, "If it pleases the king, let the king and Haman come to the banquet I have prepared." She invites the enemy to the table. Why did she wait? Why a banquet? Because timing is everything. Sometimes God asks us to wait. We want to fix the problem now, but God is setting a trap for the enemy. She holds a banquet. The king asks again, "What do you want?" She says, "Come back tomorrow for another banquet." She waits again. That night, The night between the two banquets is when everything turns. The king can't sleep. He asks for the history book to be read. He discovered Mordecai saved his life years ago and was never rewarded. At the same time, Haman is building a gallows to hang Mordecai. If Esther hasn't spoken on the first day, the king wouldn't have been reminded of Mordecai's loyalty. The time could have been off. God was working in the king's mind. Never underestimate what God is doing while you are waiting. The second banquet, the moment of truth. The king asked the third time, "Queen Esther, what is your petition?" She dropped the marks. "If I have found favor in your sight, O king, spare my life and the life of my people, for we have been sold to be destroyed and killed." The king is furious. Who is he? Where is the man who dares to do that? And Esther, with the courage of a lioness, points across the table, the adversary and the enemy, Haman. Tables turned instantly. The very halo Haman built for Mordecai becomes the place of his own execution. The degree of death is reversed. The sorrow of the Jewish is turned into joy. It is called the Great Revival. What was meant to destroy them elevated them. What was meant to silence them gave them a voice. This is God